What if I told you that silver, the metal we often overlooked as just another industrial commodity, played a vital role in winning wars? Back in 1942, during World War II, the US government openly admitted that silver was so critical for military use that it had to dip into its reserves just to keep up. In fact, silver demand for war purposes was so high that it outpaced entire global production by millions of ounces. But here's the shocking part. Could it still be happening today? Is it possible that our government is keeping silver prices suppressed for military purposes? High-tech weapons, advanced electronics, missile systems, they all rely heavily on silver. And yet, we're led to believe that silver is just another commodity with its price driven by typical market forces. But as we'll explore in this video, history tells us otherwise. But what if I told you it's likely still happening today, but just under the radar? Today, I'm going to dive into the secret history of silver manipulation and why the government might actually be involved in the suppression of silver prices. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Noel Lorenzana. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes. It isn't financial or investment advice, so please do your own due diligence. Now, before I dive any deeper, I have to give credit where credit is due. This smoking gun, this undeniable connection between silver and the US military was brought to my attention by none other than Andy Schectman. Andy, as many of you know, is a trusted voice in the precious metals community, and his insights have been invaluable. Andy credits John Little, the publisher of the Pickaxe, for uncovering this incredible piece of history. So what exactly does this 1942 document tell us? It's actually pretty eye-opening. During World War II, the US government openly admitted in a subcommittee Senate hearing that silver wasn't just a commodity, it was a critical war resource. In fact, according to this government report, the consumption of silver for war purposes was around 100 million ounces per year, with expectations to double to 200 million ounces shortly thereafter. The demand for silver was growing so fast that it outpaced global production by a staggering 25 million ounces. Think about that. The US military needed so much silver to keep up with war demands that it couldn't rely on production alone. They had to dip into government reserves just to meet their internal demand. This wasn't a small amount of silver, and it wasn't just for coins or basic industrial use. Silver was being used for highly specialized wartime purposes. Everything from electrical components, ammunition, and even controversial projects like the development of atomic energy. This document reveals something most people overlook, that silver wasn't just important to the economy, it was critical to national security. And if that was true in 1942, isn't it possible that silver still holds a hidden importance for our government today? But that was 1942. What about today? While silver's use in coins and electronics is well known, its role in military applications is still just as significant, even more critical. Take the Tomahawk cruise missile, for example. Each one of these advanced missiles is said to contain approximately 500 ounces of silver in its electrical systems. If that's true, that's a massive amount of silver for a single piece of military hardware. And it's just one of the many technologies that use silver. Silver is essential in high-tech military applications, from missile systems to advanced electronic warfare. It's used in everything from circuit boards to electrical wiring and much more. And it's not just the military. Civilian demand for silver is skyrocketing too. Electric cars, solar panels, 5G technology, they all depend on silver. But while demand is growing, prices have remained strangely stagnant. Now here's where things start to get interesting. Despite skyrocketing demand from both military and civilian sectors, silver prices have remained surprisingly stagnant over the years. This raises an important question. Why? According to the 2024 World Silver Survey, this year the global silver deficit is expected to rise to a staggering 265 million ounces. This structural deficit is due to a combination of increased industrial demand and decreased supply. Just last year, we saw a deficit of over 142 million ounces. And get this, 2024 will mark the 6th consecutive year that silver demand has exceeded supply. With such a consistent deficit, it's hard not to question why silver prices haven't seen the dramatic increases you would expect. With this huge supply-demand imbalance, you have to ask yourself, is the price being held down through manipulation? Let me know what you think in the comments. This is exactly why analyzing silver's current pricing is so fascinating. Also interesting to note, according to the World Silver Survey, at least my interpretation of it, I don't see any mention of government or military demand in the official numbers. This is despite silver's critical role in military technologies, as I've outlined previously. It's nowhere to be found in these reports. Go and see for yourself. Some believe the stagnant price is simply a result of regular market forces, supply and demand balancing themselves out. But others suspect something more nefarious might be happening. Maybe government manipulation. So why would the government have an interest in keeping silver prices low? Well, let's look back to the Tomahawk missile for a second. If each missile uses about 500 ounces of silver, and when you consider how many other military technologies rely on silver, the demand becomes staggering. If silver prices were to rise sharply, it could significantly increase the cost of producing these weapons, electronics, and other critical military hardware. Some believe that this might give the government a strategic incentive to keep silver prices artificially low. And while there isn't conclusive evidence to say this is happening today, we do know that from history, the US government has had a vested interest in silver. During World War II, they dipped into silver reserves to meet military demands, and it's possible that similar tactics are being used today, but behind closed doors. Some theories suggest that silver price manipulation happens through several large banks, which have the ability to influence the market by shorting silver futures or using other complex financial tools. This isn't just speculation. Large financial institutions like Deutsche Bank, HSBC, and JP Morgan have been caught manipulating silver prices in the past, paying hefty fines totaling over $1 billion. Whether you believe this theory or not, it raises an important question. Why hasn't silver prices, with its increasing demand, seen a price boom like other commodities? Is the market really reflecting its true value? Of course, while the idea of government manipulation is intriguing, it's important to stay balanced and objective. Silver prices, like any commodity, are influenced by a variety of factors, not just government or military interests. Supply and demand in the open market certainly plays a role. Global mining production, the health of mining industries, and investor sentiment all impact silver's price. The market's complex and price movements can be affected by everything from new mining discoveries to changes in technology and industrial needs. While silver price manipulation is worth considering, there are also valid reasons why prices haven't spiked. Despite rising demand from sectors like renewable energy and electronics, global mining operations have maintained a relatively steady supply. And in a global market with many players, if you think about it, sustaining manipulation would be challenging in the long term. Theories are just that, theories. Without hard evidence, it's tough to pinpoint exactly what forces are at play. What we do know is that silver remains a critical metal with increasing demand from both industry and the military. What this means for its future price, however, remains uncertain. From the critical role silver played in World War II to its continued importance in today's high-tech military applications, one thing is clear. Silver has always been more than just a commodity. It's been a strategic resource for national defense. Whether the government is still actively suppressing silver prices for military purposes is a theory that's hard to prove outright. But with evidence like the 1942 Senate hearing and the sheer volume of silver used in military technologies like the Tomahawk missile, it's not hard to see why some people believe there's more to the story than meets the eye. So where does this leave us? Should we be skeptical of silver's stagnant prices in the face of growing demand? Or are we simply seeing market forces at play? That's a question only time can tell. In my previous silver video, a commenter named James made an insightful point. Market manipulation is like holding a balloon underwater. Eventually, it has to shoot back up. And don't forget, at the end of the day, silver is a precious metal and silver is money. But I want to know what you think. Could the government still be playing a hidden role in the silver market? Or is this just another conspiracy theory? If you found this video thought-provoking, I'd really appreciate it if you could like, comment, and consider subscribing to stay connected. And before you go, if you've enjoyed this content and want to support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon. It's a great way to help me keep making videos like this one, and you'll get some exclusive perks as well. The link's down below in the description if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.